Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Quantum Sparks program on proudly becoming the most expensive. Uh, it's really the art of becoming invaluable. So today's conversation, first off, has nothing to do with ego, and it has everything to do with energy. Today's class is not about price tags or brand names or luxury for show. It's about what those things represent at their core, which is a vibrational frequency. High value is an energy, luxury is a vibration. Expensive is a signal. It is one that says this is rare, intentional, and worth protecting. The signal doesn't begin with the product or the service or the price. It begins with the person behind it. It begins with how they show up, how they speak, and how they believe in what they have to offer. Think about the brands, the people, and the experiences that the world sees as high end. They don't beg for attention, they don't chase clients, they don't discount their power. They radiate certainty, they lead with clarity. Hold on, I'm going to let a couple more people in. They own their space. And here's the truth. The agent or the brand or the business that wants to be appreciated for high value must first become the embodiment of high value. And that's what today's Quantum Sparks class is about. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to the truest version of yourself and turning up the volume on your worth. So let's talk about how to let me close this. How to proudly become the most expensive, how to proudly embrace the art of becoming invaluable. Before we start, always a reminder that knowledge is only potential, it is not power. So make sure you have a pen and paper available just to take some notes for today. As Warren Buffett says, price is what you pay, value is what you get. And we have some definitions. Just something to think about that when you think about value, it's not necessarily about price. It is about the usefulness of something or someone. It is the regard that something is held in. We're going to talk about how to slightly change your brand by changing the energy that you your frequency and your energy. And as we do that, I want you to think about energy in general. We've spent the last 9 weeks talking about energy, and value has an energy, and cheapness has an energy as well. And in my opinion, our industry is just saturated with discount positioning. So it's time to elevate energy, identity, and your income. Premium is also a frequency. So when you think about value, value is energy first. And high price is just a signal that something is valuable. You don't become premium by offering more. You only become premium by becoming more. And that starts first with your energy. The invaluable agent operates in self-worth, not self-doubt. They are an investment. They are not an expense. And they own their own space with clarity, not clutter. Stanford and Caltech both did these studies. By the way, if you just do a simple Google search, there are thousands upon thousands of studies on this very subject. But the Stanford and Caltech study basically did a study where they gave recipients all the same wines. but told the recipients in the study that some wines were significantly more expensive. So some of the receivers thought they were drinking a very expensive wine, and some were told that, oh, you just have a boxed wine, like a low cost wine. Well, the perceived quality that the respondents thought they had was much higher when they thought that they were drinking a higher priced wine. And by the way, they then did a brain scan to confirm the greater pleasure response. So the people who, when they were drinking what they perceived to be the more expensive wine, they got a greater pleasure, confirmed by brain scans, because they believed it was higher quality than the other wine. And in fact, they were all the same quality of wine. In other words, people value what they pay for. They place a greater value on something that they typically pay more for. Cost is a commitment. High investment equals a deeper emotional ownership. Think about how that applies to your own business. The more somebody pays, the deeper the emotional ownership they have for your services. Expensive is a signal. So when something is more expensive than other things like it, other services like it, for example, that is a signal to the person that is experiencing the more expensive item that it's a signal of confidence, it's a signal of scarcity, excellence, and intentionality. Right off the bat, when you charge more, you immediately have changed the perception of the person who is evaluating your services. Emotional investment builds loyalty. People protect what they pay for. They brag about it. They believe in it more. Premium brands do not compete on price. They compete on perception. So for example, you'll never see a sale on Rolex watches. So as a real estate agent, how does that play into your own business? If you think about our industry, we're competing against millions of other real estate agents, or at least thousands of other agents within our marketplaces. How do you become the Hermes equivalent in your marketplace? How do you become the person that people are happy to pay more for? They're proud to pay more for. First, in order to do that, it's important to note that value is a mirror. So first, if you want to be appreciated for the value that you offer, you must be a person that appreciates value. What that means is you can't always be a bargain seeker and then expect everybody to see your services as premium. To be appreciated for value, you must also appreciate value. It's an energy. When becoming premium, belief comes first and pricing comes second. So first, you have to have the confidence in yourself. You have to create the energy within you. Because if you don't believe you're worth it, then no one else is going to believe you're worth it. You have to shed your own stories of unworthiness. Hold on, I'm just letting a couple more people in. Okay. You have to shed your own stories of unworthiness. Most agents price low because they feel fear. But being expensive starts with rewriting your own identity, retelling yourself the stories in your own head. We've said before in the Quantum Sparks program that the one person you spend all day with, the one person that you speak to all day and tell stories to all day is yourself. So to become premium in your marketplace, you have to start telling yourself different stories about who you are. To be invaluable, it is a vibration. It's not a louder vibration, but it's a clearer vibration. It is about becoming magnetic so that you become the person who can demand more for your services, and people are happy to pay it. They seek you out because they get to pay more for your value. Timing is a filter. So, first off, when you are a premium of anything, not everyone is ready for your high value services. So, you have to allow for misalignment to filter itself out. Not everybody is going to appreciate a Rolex watch. Not everyone is going to appreciate. There are hundreds of brands that really focus on high value. Not everybody is going to appreciate like a Ritz-Carlton hotel or a Four Seasons hotel because they prefer to really focus on the less expensive piece. So you have to be okay as you harness your energy of being invaluable. You have to be okay with letting people go who deselect themselves from that energy. You have to let them filter themselves out. And energy is a vacuum. You'll end up bringing other people in who do appreciate the value. When you are in a bargain business or you're a bargain real estate agent, you have to chase business. But when you're a premium, you magnetize business. There's no chasing. Here's some strategies to creating an energy of invaluable. Number one, look at your presentation, your branding pieces, your marketing pieces, your materials. What are the value cues that you offer? Elevate the visuals and you elevate the perception. You have to deliver with integrity, excellence, and polish. If you want to deliver a premium anything, but today we'll talk about a premium real estate service, then you have to always live up to your promises. I'd say you even have to exceed the promises that you make. So look at your branding pieces. Ask yourself, what are the promises that you're making within those pieces? Are you A, living up to them? And B, are you exceeding them? Being expensive means exceeding the expectations of the client. But first, you have to set the expectations through your presentations, your marketing pieces. Language. If you look at all of the brands that focus on luxury and premium, their brands are delivered with clarity and confidence. They don't over explain or justify their price. So going back to the Rolex watch, they are not over explaining all the reasons why somebody would want to have a Rolex watch. They're just Rolex. So when it comes to your own services, speak with clarity and confidence, but you don't need to over explain, nor do you need to justify your high value. Let's talk about how language plays a role in creating an energy where you can demand a premium. Premium agents speak in declarative sentences, not tentative ones. I'm going to give you some examples of this in a moment. They're not over explaining nor defending their value. They use industry informed, data backed, and benefit driven phrases. So, for example, when you go on a listing presentation, instead of saying words like, I think this might be a good price, instead say, based on the data and market trajectory, this is a strategic pricing position. Instead of saying, let me know what works for you, you take control and say, here's how we'll proceed next. Instead of saying, I hope that works for you, you say, this approach is designed to protect your equity and maximize your exposure. Instead of saying, I'll try, you can say, you can expect me to. Instead of saying, my commission is, you can say, my professional fee reflects the full scope of service and strategy I provide. Instead of saying, well, we can negotiate that, you say, we will defend your value with data, confidence, and strong positioning. The energy of these phrases is just different. All of the second phrases on the right, those are the phrases of high value. Think about the language of your listing presentation. So saying words like, my role is to position your property as the most desirable option in its category. Or you don't just list homes, you curate and command market attention. About every strategy I recommend is backed by performance data and buyer's psychology. Let's talk about a call coming into you. What kind of language are you using in the calls or the inquiries that come in? Such as, I specialize in delivering white glove experiences for clients who expect results. Or, let's determine if this opportunity is aligned with your vision and your goals. Let's talk about the language of negotiating. Our offer is constructed to stand out while preserving your leverage. Or, let's lead this negotiation, not follow it. How about the language of your marketing pieces? This isn't just a listing, it's a narrative designed to attract the ideal buyer. Or, we don't chase buyers, we attract them through precision marketing. How about language around your time and setting boundaries, such as, I prioritize focused service, so I book all my consults by appointment only. Or saying, our process is structured to protect your time, your energy, and your investment. The other piece to think about when you think about a lot of the high-end brands, the Ritz-Carltons, the Four Seasons, Rolls-Royce, Porsche, in clothing, you have Hermes, or even with technology and design, you have like Dyson vacuums that are more expensive. In retail, you have Tiffany's. And then also personal brands out there that they focus on being the high ticket brand. Well, first off, there's exclusivity. So when you create your marketing and your branding and everything you do, when you create it for everyone, then you've created it for no one. To be a premium brand, it's energy first, but it comes with the understanding that you're not for everyone. Scarcity adds weight to your presence. Look at your environment. We said few minutes ago that if you want to be considered high value, if you want people to appreciate you as high value, then you have to appreciate high value yourself. But also you have to position yourself in premium rooms. What that means is that your environment that you surround yourself with has to also reflect the value that you see in yourself and the high value energy that you bring to the table. You have to surround yourself with others who embody value. You have to be a buyer of value and not just a shopper of price. Are you operating in value? Do your materials look really nice? Do your presentation materials look valuable? Do you believe that you are worth the price you charge? And are you attracting aligned and appreciative clients? Oftentimes, real estate agents try to be worth more, but first you have to become more. Because value is not just claimed. You can't just go out and say, today I'm going to charge more for my services. You have to become the person within you. It becomes embodied. And once you embody it, once you become the energy of premium or invaluable, then you can proudly be the most expensive. Here are some mantras to start adopting as you transition to this new energy. I am not an expense, I am an investment. My value does not require validation. I don't chase clients, I attract opportunities. I lead with excellence, not explanation. I only work with those who value what I bring. I reflect the worth I wish to receive. Cheap doesn't live here, only clarity, confidence, and commitment. The right clients are drawn to my energy, not my price. My brand is a mirror of my belief in myself. I don't discount, I deliver. What I offer cannot be duplicated. I am the difference. I don't sell real estate. I deliver outcomes, peace of mind, and legacy. When I walk into a room, value enters with me. I embody the energy of someone who is booked, valued, and referred. That is it today for our Quantum Sparks class. As always, you'll be able to get these slides if you go to layerrealty.com/quantum sparks. You can watch all of our past episodes, check out the slides. And as always, if you have something you'd like us to cover in an upcoming program, go to layerrealty.com/ask anything. And don't forget to check out today's Mindful Monday, where we're going to continue the conversation on how to proudly be the most expensive, the art of becoming invaluable. Thanks, everyone.